It is Tego and Tracy Venturi with the Venturi Group of Real Broker in Albuquerque, New Mexico, with Albuquerque Real Estate Talk episode
446.
446.
We have been doing this for 445 times, and here's 446. We're so excited to be here today to do what we love to do, talk about real estate.
Talk about real estate. That's what we do. You know, I was at the National Association of Realtors convention, Tracy, as you know, all week. And talked a lot of real estate this week and everything going on around the country. So we're going to get into that. Tracy, couple interesting stories. There was one story about home buyer confidence.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get into that. Just talk about what's going on in the Albuquerque market, like we always do. And a lot of different stories out there. I'll tell you one thing was artificial intelligence was a big topic at the National Association conference in DC that I was at. So we'll get into some of that. There's some interesting things going on for AI in real estate, just like everything, really.
Totally. So it was not very long ago that when you would tell people, you would use the word AI in conversation, and people, you could just see on their face, we don't know what AI stands for.
Glaze over.
Yeah. And, people didn't really always ask, what does AI mean? Because you got the general gist of what you might have been talking about. But now people are starting to recognize artificial intelligence is happening, and it's everywhere.
It is.
Especially in our industry. So.
Well, in it's impacting every business. And, the little secret is it's been impacting every business for a long time. But just with the Chat GPT thing and OpenAI, it's really opened a lot of people's eye. The image generation stuff, like what can be done. So, yes, we should just, say who we are. It's Tego and Tracy Venturi with the Venturi Group of Real Broker in Albuquerque. And you can reach us at 505-448-8888 or our website,
welcomehomeabq.com. So just right away, Tego, I want to mention, if anyone's thinking of selling their house, call us first. We have some options, right? A lot of options.
Can I say it this way? Please call us to sell your house. No, and I say that in the sense when I look at the market data and how few homes are on the market right now, as we would normally have this time of year. Huge opportunity for sellers right now. I really, really, truly believe that right now. If you're thinking of selling, reach out to us, because it's a really good time if that's your plan this year.
And we have options. We have ways to help you with that transition of where you're going to, and we have options for how you can sell your home. So we'd be honored to talk to you about it. The best.
Well, I just did the ain't too proud to beg kind of thing. It's you're rolling your eyes at me.
Well, I really brought it up because we've had two home sellers call us in the last few weeks who listened to us on the radio and didn't call us. And now they're calling saying, can you help us? And it pains me because this is what we do,
Tracy. Okay. So topics, Albuquerque real estate market. Like I said, there's not a lot of homes on the market as compared to what would be called normal.
Right. And, I had the opportunity this week. I know you've probably got some stats for that you're going to go into, but I'm going to say I was in the North Valley this week showing property, and it was so lovely. It was windy, but I was in the valley where I saw peacocks, I saw sheep, I saw horses. I don't know the other ones, if it was llamas or alpacas that I saw, but it was just like such a beautiful day to be out looking at houses. And we have such beautiful communities within our metro area for people to choose from. So that's my take. I know you love to talk stats, but it was quite a pleasure to be out showing homes.
We do have a unique situation here in Albuquerque. We do have quite a variety of options for people when they're looking for homes and neighborhoods.
Yeah.
We are unique diverse in that way, for sure. Very diverse.
The thing that I find is that we don't have a lot of is when somebody is coming from perhaps the East Coast or Kentucky or the Panhandle, and they're on a horse farm and they want 10 or 20 acres with a barn, and they want to be 30 to 40 minutes from the airport. And we don't have a lot of that, bigger parcels with facilities that. Anyway, or close in anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So a couple just stories of the week. Tracy, there was this whole big blow up on mortgage price um, rate adjustments for people with bad credit versus good credit, or better credit versus not so good credit, and big blow up on that. And there was three components to that, and I just want you to help us with definitions here real quick, because there's three things. There's credit score, there's a down payment amount, or basically your equity that you're putting in your home, right? Your loan to value ratio. And then the third part is your debt to income ratio. And all three of those things affect a mortgage. So first off, what is a debt to income ratio? Can you help me with that?
Well, debt to income is how much you make versus how much you have to pay out every month.
Right.
And what's left over.
So that was one item that there was going to be some adjustments for. So if you had a tighter debt to income ratio, you might end up paying less or higher. Anyway, long story short, that piece of it that the Fannie and Freddy were going to put in, they got rid of that. So now there's no adjustments based on your debt to income ratio. If you qualify, you qualify. The other two parts, though, which was your loan to value, which is, or your equity. Yeah,
right.
Your
how much you're putting into down payment.
Yeah. So people with lower down payment do pay a higher fee, basically, to get a Fannie or a Freddie loan than people with higher down payment.
Right. And then there's the credit score.
And then the credit score again. So you get it charged a fee if you've got a lower credit score, and you do have a higher fee if you have a lower credit score.
So it's very clear right now.
Clear as mud.
Clear as mud. Right. So, the news was that, wow, we were able to rescind, blah, blah, blah. But it was just one little piece of it.
One little piece.
That's what you're trying to point out.
Never been enacted. And just, again, I keep hearing people say this wrong, is that there's no scenario where having a poorer credit score gives you lower fees. You always have lower fees if you've got a better credit score. Now, that did change back in May, at the beginning of May.
It actually changed like in February, but...
Well, it got enacted in May. It right. Actually went, any loans that got funded in May, that's when it kicked in.
So the lenders were planning on it, though. If you weren't closing it until
Correct.
May, it was already in there.
Correct. So
right.
I've heard people say, I'm going to, well, I should just mess up my credit so I can not pay as high a fee. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. So people need to know that. Okay. All right.
I think we all know that logically, right?
I've kind of been beating that one up, because even in the realtor and lender community, people are saying it wrong. So I want to make sure that's clear.
So housing yes. Confidence jumped the largest amount in the last 2 years, right?
That was the survey, right?
That was a survey through Yahoo.
Yeah,
Finance?
no, it's Fannie and I think Yahoo reported it.
Fannie Mae's housing sentiment. Yeah, jumped 5.5 points in April to 66.8, its highest level since May of 22, and the largest monthly gain in 2 years. And it says the boost was driven by increased expectations that mortgage rates would soften in the next 12 months.
Interesting. So, that survey, it's been around for a long time, and during the, let's say, all the way through 2018, 2019, it was really strong. People felt really confident about home buying.
Right.
And then in 2020, it got a little weird, and then it jumped up. And then it went way down last summer when interest rates jumped up so much, more than doubled. And so that chart or that survey,
right.
that confidence survey, basically people were very uncomfortable, unsure about buying. But it's interesting now that it's moved up. I think people are realizing the market's kind of stabilized. There's been a lot of talk about home prices going down and crashing, but it's not happened.
Right. And, that survey went on to say both buyers and sellers felt slightly more optimistic about the market and the direction of the market and interest rates, so mortgage rates, and that affordability is still a top concern going forward, but that's mostly because of limited inventory, which is continuing to keep home prices up and slightly increasing as it is in our market. So
100%. Yep.
But,
for sure.
I feel it. Do you feel it? I
What?
feel like people are kind of over where interest rates are at. We're kind of down the road on that.
Well, I was
And
talking to a lender friend of mine, and he said, yeah, back, in July, August, September, people would call and he'd say, yeah, it's going to be 6.5% for your mortgage or 7% for your mortgage. And people are like, what do you mean? Because we were so used to sub 4% mortgages.
right,
Now, people are like, okay, well, this is the new normal.
right. They're kind of moved on.
It's interesting in that story that it says one of the reasons they're confident is because they feel like mortgage rates are going to continue to go down. And I've seen a lot of stuff like that we're kind of maybe past peak mortgage rates.
Right. And what a lot of people have decided, I think, is, if I buy a house today and lock in a rate and it goes down significantly, they know they can refinance it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. That's something we have that not every country has.
No.
We've got a pretty interesting, very homeowner friendly financing system in the United States.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So Tego, let's talk about something light and fluffy and fun.
What's that?
Not stats.
Reimagine AI?
Reimagine. So, obviously it was coming where you could take a picture of your room and put it out there for artificial intelligence to give you design ideas. So you can put this out there and get a design idea. So I was looking at some of the befores and then
let me just clarify, if people are curious, it's called Reimagine Home, and the website is reimaginehome.ai.
Yeah.
And you can go there.
And you can upload a picture of the front of your house, the backyard of your house, the living room or the master, and give it keywords, right? Of what style and what colors you like and what you're looking for. And it'll give you several options and give you ideas of what you can do and redecorate your room or your yard.
So I want to give an example. So we have a property that's listed for sale, very classic, New Mexico style, kind of heavy furniture, just that kind of hacienda style, like furniture in the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
You put it in there and it basically zaps the furniture that's in the room from the photo. And then you can say, okay, give me contemporary furniture and give me in, certain colors.
Blue. I like blue or brown or gray or it's fun.
Well, and that's the thing is, this is just one of those artificial intelligence things. Like I was saying, there's an explosion. There's a lot of it related to imaging, and that's what this one is.
Right.
Where it's basically giving you the option to totally redesign a room, give it a whole new look, and see if you like it. So if you're a home shopper and you've got a house and you're saying, well, I think I like this room, but I don't like the furniture. I wonder what it would look like with X, right?
Yeah. Think about if you're looking at houses to buy and the house is not your style, but you could take the photos maybe from our website or whatever and put them in this and say, how would it look because I like modern or I like prairie style or I like
country.
Country or
what is it? The farmhouse style.
Style
or mid-century modern or
mid-mod.
whatever.
Oh, I'd love to see something like that house we have it with mid-mod, right?
Yeah, right.
Because I love
French provincial.
Yeah, that wouldn't do it for me, but if it was mid-mod, I would like that. And how would it look in an adobe house with wood ceilings, right? Be interesting. So anyway, it's kind of fun, some of the AI stuff that's out there.
Well, I see the progression on something like this in the real estate world, where this is almost going to be kind of like the common thing here at some point, where you go to a website and you're searching for homes and you click on the photo and you say, hey, reimagine this room with different furniture.
Right. I don't know, thinking out loud, I shouldn't say things that just come to my mind, but think about we're listing a property for sale.
Get ready to click the silent button just in case.
No, like we're getting a property ready for sale that needs some sort of updates, right? Or they've painted the room purple when the ceiling black. And we want to say, let's virtually stage this and show what it could look like as long as it was labeled properly on that photo that says, here's the room now, but here's what it could look like when we're marketing the property.
Very common.
A lot of AI stuff going on.
Yeah, virtual staging is something that's actually
been around a long time.
Been around for a while, but now with the new tech and AI, it's much easier. You can just plug in your photo and say, give me 5 different designs for this room.
Right.
This Reimagine AI is specifically for taking, what you have and then redesign it. But, there's going to be a lot going on with that. Some of the other stuff happening with AI in real estate is tagging photos, like meta tagging photos. So I don't know if people understand,
right.
like when there's a photo and it's a digital photo, you have meta tags, right? Basically telling you, what it is. Well, there's a lot of the software out there now that handles photos for real estate digitally. They are scanning the photos and saying, okay, this is a living room and it has tile floors and it has big windows, right? Can see it. Or it goes to the kitchen and says, okay, well, looks like they're cherry cabinets and it's got granite countertops and it's got stainless appliances and wood floor.
So you can search by that and
Exactly. And so a lot of that technology is actually already out there and being used, but it's going to be ramped up. And I learned that at National Association of Realtors, NAR convention I was at DC this week. And a lot of talk about AI at the national convention, because it does have a lot of application in our industry, in our business. So pretty interesting stuff. And, the AI thing it's everywhere right now. I mean, I think most people have gotten on and played around with ChatGPT, and that's more of the language part of AI, but that's also being used in a lot of different ways.
It is
for writing and rewriting and all kinds of stuff.
So shifting gears.
Yeah.
Not on your list. So last week or this past week, we sent out a video to a database of people who've subscribed to get our emails. And we talked about, help us out. We get a lot of people relocating to the area, and we know our favorite spots that we recommend to people. And we have a little relocation guide we give to people, and we talk about different areas and some of the highlights of each area. But we would love it if you would send us your ideas of some of the gems around Albuquerque and New Mexico, day trips, your favorite restaurants, yoga places, shops, all the places that somebody who maybe is in town for a week and they're looking at houses and they find the right house, but then they have 5 days to do sightseeing too. Help us supplement our relocation guide. Send us your favorites, email us, text us, whatever you can do. We would love your input. So one of the things that came up and out of that is my favorite, the Hyatt Tamaya and the horse rescue that they support out there. And, we often tell people when they come to town, go take a horseback ride out at Tamaya, or go out to the restaurants, or stay at Tamaya, right? But last week, they had the PGA championship there. And I know a lot of people in our community went out and volunteered. I know some realtors volunteered. I know family members who volunteered out there. And what a spectacular place that is. And great resource. But it reminded me that we would love all of your input on places for us to recommend. So if you've got an idea, send it our way.
Yeah, we have a relocation book that, people that are considering Albuquerque are going to be coming to Albuquerque, that we send out to people. Just kind of give them the, it's difficult. There's so much, right? You can give them the 10,000-foot view of different parts of town. And, and in this case, it's real estate specific. So we can talk about different prices by certain parts of town and so on. So it's
it's a style guide too. Like we were just talking about, that AI would have helped me a lot when I wrote that book 15 years ago or whatever. But, we also talk about style and how to speak New Mexican. What's a corbel? What's a viga? What's a latia? Brick floors, a banco, things like that. So it's got a lot of fun things in it.
Yeah, we do kind of have our own language in real estate in New Mexico for sure. Northern New Mexico, Pueblo style, territorial style. All those things.
They're all in it
that are unique to New Mexico in particular.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get back on some wonky economic stuff again.
Okay. Here we go.
So, Consumer Price Index came out last week, and why does that matter for real estate? It matters because that's CPI is inflation, right? That's how we track inflation. There's other couple of measures, but that's the big one. And the good news is inflation's coming down, and mortgage rates, more or less, I gotta bracket that, caveat that, more or less follow inflation. Inflation's rising, usually mortgage rates rise. When inflation's dropping, usually mortgage rates drop. So there's a lot of people that are experts in that mortgage world and the mortgage-backed security market and the bond market for mortgages are projecting that mortgage rates are going to keep coming down here through the summer. So just keep an eye on it. There does seem to be good news on inflation. I hate to say this out loud, but so far, I know there's a lot of people that really dislike what the Fed does and how they do stuff, but they did slow down the housing market and they did slow down the cost of rent, at least the rate of appreciation, and that's good. We needed that because it was going up too much too fast.
Right.
So,
right.
Anyway,
we've been all over the place today. So
I know.
You said I shouldn't say this. I thought, there's probably 5 things I've said on this radio show so far today that I probably shouldn't have
Let's
said.
see. What did I say at the top of the show we were going to talk about and I haven't talked about?
And I was thinking it's Twin Warriors out at Tamaya. Tamaya is not the golf course, but Twin Warriors is the course out at Tamaya.
Yeah.
Along with the horses that you can ride, which we always suggest that people do.
Yep.
So you have some great stats for us, I'm sure.
Well, I was at the National Association of Realtors conference. I don't know how many times have I said that today?
A few in Washington, D.C. this week. Well, you were there for like 6 days, so that's a long time. That's a lot of real estate.
It was too long. And you know what I learned? I really like Albuquerque. I don't like big cities.
Yeah.
So,
I'm glad you like Albuquerque.
So there's so many different stats, and I'll give you the short of it. Dr. Lawrence Hune, who's the chief economist at the National Association, he gave his report. And just quick summary, because forecast is really what people want to know. Is
right.
2023, the number of homes sold is going to be the lowest in many, many years. The actual number of homes actually transacting. And I've got another story I want to talk about that. However, price-wise, it does look like, yes, home prices nationally did pull back from peak summer through winter, and then now appear to be going back up this spring. And in Albuquerque, we had a little bit of a pullback through the winter, but not as much as some other markets for sure. And definitely prices are going back up this spring here in Albuquerque. Another data point that was pulled up, and this gets talked about a lot, and I'm always careful with it because when you talk about a stat like this, it's causation or is it just relation? And what it is the wealth gap between homeowners and renters. And they estimated that in 2022, the homeowner has about $320,000 in net worth versus
above a renter.
A renter $8,000 on average. So again, causation, but there definitely is, and who knows why, but man, that's a huge difference. 8,000 on average for renters and 320,000 for homeowners.
Well, you think about how much equity homeowners who've had a house for 3 or more years, how much equity they've gained to have that wealth, right?
Yeah.
They've accumulated quite a bit in the past few years alone.
100%. Yep, for sure, Tracy. The other big conversation that's out there right now is buyers are stuck and sellers are stuck. There's kind of like this point where people that maybe want to upgrade and move into that bigger house, they've got a 3.5% mortgage, and they're going, well, if I move up to that bigger house, now I'm going to have a 6.5% mortgage, and home prices have gone up whatever amount over the last few years.
Yep.
And so there's this situation where people just aren't moving as often. They're not listing as often because they don't have a place to go. And so there's been some terms out there like, it's a real estate log jam, right? Stuff like that I'm hearing. And that's why I said, here in Albuquerque, we're seeing the lowest number of new listings coming on the market in the Albuquerque area in this time of year in the spring than we've seen in, I don't know long time. Just not as many people listing. So if people want to list their home and get it sold, it's a good time, right?
It is a good time. And if you're moving to another part of the country, we have great resources for realtors to help you there because we've been doing this networking for a long time. So if you're leaving our area, I'm sure we can help you find a great realtor to help you on the other end as well.
And just because it's a very strong seller's market right now, and to be clear, it is a seller's market, very much so. Now, does that mean every single home sells? Does that mean every home can sell at any price? Does that mean, price and condition and location still don't matter? No, all those things still matter, right?
They do. Yeah.
And however, it does matter who you hire to help sell your home.
It does. There's statistics out there. I mean, when we meet with people, sometimes we show them the differences, like our average price, sold price to list price, and our average days on market compared to the rest of the market. So we do have data on that. But in any event,
well, and there's still very specific marketing and merchandising and certain tactics that matter when you're selling your home and listing your home. It doesn't mean you can just, maybe you can, take a couple photos with a cell phone and put a sign out front and have an agent put in the MLS, and it could sell, but are you getting top dollar?
Are you maximizing? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was an interesting topic. So what else to wrap up today?
That was it, Tracy.
Got a few open houses.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to mention them though. Get on our website and look at open houses because we list everything that's open, not just the properties that we represent for sale. So get on that site because I think a few of the properties we put on on the market this week that are slated to have open houses might be sold. So get online and check out to make sure an open house is still available that you want to see.
Yeah, definitely multiple offers on, especially, more moderately priced homes, median price and below, there's lots of multiple offers.
Yeah.
And days on market is still very low across the board for homes. So,
right.
But again,
if it's priced right for the condition and location, they're selling.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say it's better to get on welcomehomeabq.com, look at our link to open houses and see what part of town you're looking at and find those open houses.
Perfect. Tracy, if people want to get a hold of us,
448-8888.
We're the Venturi Realty Group. We're with Real Broker here in Albuquerque, and we do a radio show on KIVA 1600 AM. Been doing it, episode number 446. 446.
Got to keep you in line.
In the books.
There we are.
All right.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.